Welcome to Heidi Relationships. Today, we'll read some more stories from Reddit. But before we start, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. That would help the channel a lot. Thank you very much in advance.
The first one is titled, I, 32M. Have been living in DB for 1 year and just discovered my wife, 31F, is having an affair. Just to be clear, in this story DB means dead bedroom. So, the last time wife and I had sex was a year ago. The frequency and quality had been decreasing before that, and a year ago it was the last time. It's funny how a person can remember well their first time. I never had imagined that I'd be able to remember the last without knowing it would be the last and all the pain associated to it. We've been together for about 10 years and married for 2, and up until a year and a half ago I couldn't notice any problem in our sex and intimacy life. I couldn't complain before or after the marriage. Wife even wanted to try new positions, and not long after marriage wanted to have sex at least twice a week. So, everything seemed okay. In the last months of our bedroom's life everything was different. Frequency diminished to once a month, and clearly there was no effort from her. It was just duty sex until it was dead. At around the same time she made me an ultimatum about some project I needed to do and deliver related to my previous line of work under the penalty of having to pay back several €1,000, and either I completed it by the end of the year 2018 or she would ask for divorce. This ultimatum made me take my head out of my butt and start working on that project. I did it for a couple months every night after work and home chores until around 2 a.m., while getting up at 6:45 a.m. the next day. And in the beginning the wife was very supportive and always would check on me and give an encouragement kiss and or goodnight kiss before going to bed. Of course, me being working on that project every time I could, lead to gradually feeling we were drifting apart while she was becoming more engaged with phone calls and messaging her friends from work. On one occasion we were spending time with each other watching a movie. She interrupted it to answer a call from a workmate that lasted for about an hour and a half. I should have known better at that time. So, you get an idea how things were getting. After those 2 months she stopped checking on me, kissing me, and showing any sign of affection at all. I missed those intimacy moments, those touches, those kisses, the jokes, everything non-sexual that people do to their so, and I tried to get them whenever I could, until she started a fight because she said I was suffocating her. That's when I realized I had been trying to get her affection and had been doing what I now describe as begging for affection, and made the decision to stop it and to stop pursuing for her affection. I had given up on sexual intimacy already. At this point I stopped working on that project because I felt I hit a wall and couldn't progress any further. The feeling stuck, and missing all the affection and support from wife was taking a heavy toll on my emotional well-being, and I started to have thoughts about ending my own life. To the point that I had already discarded several methods to do it and had already chosen one to go forward, and was thinking about what messages to leave to my family and how, so I stopped. Around December last year she started going out with her friends, as far as I know male and female, from work, which she never did before, not even with her other group of friends from the previous work she had, which I know, and we used to hang out with. It started as one-off thing, but over time she started to go and have the occasional afternoon snack with her friends. She said sometimes was female friend X, other times was female friend Z. Some other times were a group of coworkers to work on a project, in the weekends, while I stayed at home longing for her affection and dying for us to do something together. This last bit is what bugs me. Not that she has friends she hangs out with, although I feel it would be appropriate that she introduces them to me if they are somewhat important in her life, but this I'm not so sure I'm right. New Year comes and the months pass without any positive change. The dynamic between the two of us stays the same, no affection, no intimacy, and she's always yelling at me for the most ridicule things. When I go visit my folks at some weekends she never comes with me. Sometimes she goes visit her folks, but most of the times she stays at home. She continues to occasionally go out with her work friends, and arriving late, or early in the morning. Chose what you like the best. On some of those occasions I find out that she left her wedding ring at the bedside table. Unfortunately I never seriously confronted her about it. When I mentioned it she said she had forgotten, and continued to forget regularly. Her addiction to WhatsApp messaging is getting worse. She starts calling or taking calls from the same male coworker, let's call him John, at inappropriate hours, i.e. at 2300 or even 2330 when she has always gone to sleep no later than 22:15. For comparison, if I called my mother at around 2200 just to say everything was good, which never took more than 5 minutes, she would yell at me because that was too late to call anyone and she wanted to sleep. Her excuse for those late calls was that he was new in the company and was struggling with some assignments he had to perform, and she was helping him with that because she was a good coworker, and that today he needs help but tomorrow she could need his help. On one occasion they kept talking and laughing until almost 2 a.m. on a workday. I was so dumb. She refuses invitations from our friends to dinner during weekdays because she needs to go to sleep early. Feel free to reread the previous point if something seems off. And I, as a good husband, don't go without her. She seems to be always in a bad mood around me and almost always answers badly to what I say or ask, or says that I always ask stupid questions. Whatever I do that doesn't fit what she thinks is the right way to do something is automatically wrong, and I'm an absolute idiot for doing differently than she would do, even though a few days later she does it the way I did it in the first place. If I do something wrong by accident, her reaction is like I caused an extinction level event on purpose, while if it's her doing it, it's just a simple shrug and laugh. By the way, I believe this later way of handling accidents is the correct one. Occasionally she's in a good mood, not good enough for any kind of affection though. That ship has sailed long ago and never returned. But that always coincided with times where she needs my help with something. Are you keeping notes? Now I know I should have, but was so dumb, blind, and fell for all her manipulations that no alarms were ringing, or I chose to ignore them. She's always jumpy about me getting her phone for her and yells at me if I move to do so or suggest to. And she is always carrying her phone with her, which she didn't used to do before things started to go bad. Around the middle of the year, she tells me she's going to do surf with her group of friends from work and that she's been going with them once a month for past 3 months, this being the 3rd time. I was absolutely surprised by that because she's always really cold. She only feels it's good when the temperature is above 30 C. She's not comfortable in water because she feels she's not a good swimmer. Never expressed curiosity or interest in doing that activity, although I already tried it once and enjoyed it, and we talked about it on our dating days. Never told me about doing it before. Want to know a few fun facts? When putting our washed clothes to dry, I notice a couple of new sexy panties she never used with me. I also find new bikini parts that I've never seen before that she used for the first, as far as I know, on those surfing events. Now that I'm thinking about it, I think I never saw them again, not even on our beach days. When I mentioned that it's a cool activity that I would enjoy doing too and asked to join them next time, she started with excuses for me not to go. Later we even talked about buying classes only for the two of us to go together, but when the time came she just refused. Let's move the timeline a bit further. We go away on vacations and coincidentally we were celebrating 10 years of relationship while abroad. On our day I insist we go out to dinner because it's not an ordinary day, but she refuses without acknowledging what special occasion it would be, and I didn't tell her when she asked. We have dinner at the apartment just like any other night during our vacation, and I hide a present I got for her before going on vacation. She never notices it, and in the next morning I have to tell her she slept with something strange under her pillow. She opens the present and says she likes it, and that's it. No further comment, no questions about the reason for the present, nothing. She seems to totally have forgotten what day it was, never mind its symbolism, which is incredibly odd because she's the one who is always pushing for this kind of celebrations. Of course, that made feel all kinds of unwantedness and totally destroyed me inside. To add to all that, she doesn't want me to touch the book she's reading, which of course I did when she was not looking, but never found anything suspicious, and one night I caught her on her phone a few hours after we went sleeping. That event prompted me to get a therapist, and I've been seeing it for about 8 sessions now. It has helped me a lot to have someone who I can't vent all these frustrations and suffering without fear. By this time, I think most of you that read so far are thinking that obviously she's cheating, or at least has shown a bunch of red flags. However, at this point I didn't believe it. I put that hypothesis on the table, but if you had asked me I would answer, no, I don't believe she would do that. At most she's just venting with her friends and using those moments they are together to escape from our miserable relationship. Fast forward to a couple weeks ago. We were staying at home for the coming weekend, and we had some tickets to go see a movie. I suggest going there on Friday night because she already had plans for Saturday afternoon, another surf thing with her friends, and for the night, dinner and nightclub or bar with same group of friends. She says that she's too tired because she had been working late at the office for several days that week and wanted to rest. Guess what? Friday I arrive home after a long day at the office and she already had dinner. Unfortunately at this point this was kind of frequent, so no big deal per se. A few minutes in, John calls her, and after she says a couple of times that she's tired and doesn't want to leave the house, she gives in and changes her clothes to lovely summer dress and leaves with him. He passed by our building and gave her lift, saying that it would only take an hour or so. Stupid as I am, and hurt because when it's to go somewhere with me she's tired, but on John's call she's ready to go. I told her I would go to the cinema, watch a different movie. I'm pissed and with all my spider senses firing left and right, but I don't believe them and go to the movie. 3 hours later I arrive home and she's not there yet. Should take only 1 hour, right? And I call her because I noticed a major accident on my way home and she could be stuck in traffic or worse, be involved in it. She denies my call and sends me back a text jokingly that she's coming home shortly because this is not an appropriate hour for a lady to be out. I decide to wait by the window behind the window blinds to at least get a glimpse of who this John guy is. After about an hour a car stops in front of our building as if it was about to drop someone off, and I believe I recognize my wife in there, but I can't be 100% positive, but suddenly they drive again without dropping, or picking, anyone. Now I'm on full paranoid alert and stand by the window for another 2 hours. Until a car stops a little bit further down our building and I hear my wife's voice saying things the same way she said to me in the early years when we were flirting and on super honeymoon phase. Now I can't say for sure, but this could be the same car I saw earlier, and in my mind it was. And they decided to go for another round of sexiness in the car before calling it a night. It was at this point that I shifted from, she can't be cheating, to, she could be cheating, but she could also be telling the truth. She had told me a story about John wanting to talk to her about some serious health issue with his mother. That's why she took so long to come home. It was only after I talked to someone who was cheated on who told me that he had seen this kind of behavior on her cheating girlfriend that I went full, she's probably cheating, get evidence now. Today I finally found the evidence I was looking for and am devastated. I finally peeked her phone after trying for several times and getting cold feet. Either because my conscience was telling me it's wrong or because I was afraid she could catch me. I know it's utterly wrong, but I'm glad I did it because now I know who she is. She's been sending him sexy pics on her underwear to make him hungry. Do I need to say that she never did that with me? That she's not that type of person? Oh, and that sudden Friday night unwanted get-together a couple weeks ago was totally premeditated and they were looking forward to it. I've been through all sorts of emotions today, from anger and full-blown desire to hurt them both. I fantasize about beating the crap out of the guy and about exposing wife's affair to her entire network of family, friends, coworkers and employer. However, I'm a good guy. Could that be a reason for all this? I'm too nice, and because of that I put up with things that I shouldn't to don't upset the wife. And would normally be incapable of such things. And I am at a total loss about what to do moving forward. I know I must leave as fast as possible, but part of me thinks that is just giving them what they want. And I feel I need to fight back somehow, not going out quietly and allowing them to live their happy lives like nothing had happened. I'm so hurt right now. Even though I've been expecting this in the last couple weeks, I was totally unprepared for this crap. For a split second I think that if somehow I had a magical button to wipe out all humans I would have pressed it without a second thought. To add more confusion to an already mess, we have a mutual friend couple that's getting married in a week and I don't want to disturb what should be their perfect moment, which means I can't tell them what I've discovered. They already know about the DB problems and all the crappy ways my wife has been treating me. And I can't also tell my parents because we need to go there for the weekend because of the marriage of our friends, and I can't make them go through the act of pretending everything is fine. So, I'm stuck with pretending I know nothing for an entire week with her while also needing to prepare my escape. Luckily this week I'll have a session with my therapist, and hopefully that will help dealing with all this. I'll also try to consult a lawyer to know what steps I can take. What have I learned so far? Trust your gut. Stand by your boundaries. Never settle for the sake of keeping the peace in the house or making your wife happy. It will probably save you a lot of hurt down the line. To everyone who asked for an update, I will do it when I'm out of this shitstorm. Since I posted this, I've gathered my troops, meaning I talked to my friends and close family, and I all got from them was incredible support. Already got a place to move to, legal advice, and booked an appointment with a specialized lawyer and the contact of another. I gathered more evidence and found out that they started messaging each other a year ago, right at the time the DB started, and already had been flirting each other in the workplace. Somehow only a few people in her workplace know that she's married. At least she told him that at some point. Don't know exactly when or the context yet because I just saw it in a glimpse while I was gathering the evidence. But if it was about the then current status, I guess she must have removed her wedding ring every day at work since she started working there in the second semester of 2017. And of course, they continue doing it like rabbits whenever and wherever they get an opportunity. After the company party on the Saturday night I made this post, she got a sore hip from the handle of the handbrake of a car. In Europe those handles are usually between the two front seats, so you can imagine how did she get that. Yesterday she was saying that probably she would go meet her female friend, let's call her Jane, for a coffee that afternoon. But her friend never replied to her invitation, so she didn't go. Do you think it's a coincidence that John was stuck in a beach with some friends somewhere and was unable to leave that same afternoon? I'm looking forward to hearing her excuse for arriving home late next week's Wednesday. She has booked a massage session for couples for that day, and it's not a surprise she's prepared for me, but I believe it's some kind of birthday present for John since his birthday is September 16th. I'm still baffled how she can just lay in bed and turn and instantly fall asleep with all the shit she's been doing. I seriously doubt she has a conscience. Fortunately, now I am able to see through her deception. It's devastating to find out about all those things, but I've been able to handle it, and it confirms even more how shitty of a person she, and him, is, and at the same time reinforces my resolve to exit on my own terms. I've been keeping a cool head, fantasizing of course on all the ways I could make them suffer a tiny fraction of what I'm going through, but they are just fantasies that allow me to vent the anger, rage and despair. I'm now a man committed to a mission, to exit this on my own terms, with my head straight high and proud of how I do it. She doesn't deserve that I waste my time, energy or life with some kind of petty revenge. I pity anyone who gets close to her and thinks she's a good person. This is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed the relationship stories. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video and write a comment. I really appreciate your support and it helps my channel so much. Thank you.